Hi everyone, welcome to Monday, April 27th. So today I am going to read you the passage and we're going to discuss about soldiers' lives, a soldier's life during the Civil War. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that we're a young soldier in the Civil War, and using this text that we're going to read, we're going to write a letter home to discuss the food and the medical conditions that we're experiencing. So that'll be a little bit fun. So a soldier's life, let's start here. The average age of a Civil War soldier was 25. However, boys as young as 12 went into battle as drummer boys. For young soldiers and old, life on the Civil War battlefields was dirty, dangerous, and difficult. So the average age of a Civil War soldier was about 25. So the C is actually 29. So I could have been a little bit too old to be a soldier in the Civil War, but boys as young as 12 went into battle as drummer boys. So if you know somebody in 6th grade, they could have gone to war at that age. Usually you turn 12 in about 6th grade. So the battles were horrible, but long. Boring waits between battles were hard too. Most battles were in the South, where summers were very hot. So not only is it hard and horrible and dirty and dangerous, but it's hot outside. And I know personally, living in Georgia, when it's hot outside, you would not want to be out there fighting. Soldiers almost always traveled on foot and might march up to 25 miles a day. The supplies in their backpacks weighed as much as 50 pounds, so it was really heavy. Marching proved even more difficult for Confederate soldiers. The Union blockade kept supplies from reaching the Southerners, so soldiers could not replace worn-out shoes. They often fought and marched and fought in bare feet. This kind of reminds me of like when I rush out to take my dogs out in the morning and I'm too lazy to put on shoes and like step on gravel or rock outside. It hurts so bad. That's how they were fighting without shoes sometimes. Imagine how many things they could have stepped on and gotten hurt. Food was a problem too. It was rarely fresh, so that means it was old, and it probably wasn't anything you guys would like Takis or your favorite foods. They just ate whatever they could get. The army supplied beef and pork. Both were preserved so they did not spoil. Fresh pork had been salted to become salt pork. Beef was pickled or preserved in water and spices. In addition, the troops had beans and biscuits. So they were eating pretty boring foods, but they had to eat whatever they could and whatever would last. These biscuits were tough, flour and water biscuits called hardtack. To survive, troops raided local farms to steal fresh fruits and vegetables. Sick and wounded. So in the mid-1800s, the idea that germs caused disease was a new and untested theory. Most doctors had not heard of it. Many doctors never washed their hands or medical instruments. A wounded soldier who made it to a hospital might be put in a bed in which someone had just died of a fever. Without the sheets being changed, infections were common, and disease spread quickly. There were few medicines and no antibiotics. Twice as many soldiers died of disease as died of gunshot wounds. So there were a lot of things that the soldiers were struggling with. Now, of course, you can go ahead and read Caring for the Soldiers as you continue down here. But what I'm going to do for time's sake, because I don't have too much time on this video with the app that I'm using, I want to try to go over the assignment a little bit using what we've read so far. So after you read this and look at it again and read over here, what you're going to do is you're going to write a letter home. And you're going to pretend you're a young soldier in the Civil War, maybe one of the 12-year-olds. You could be a boy or a girl. And using evidence from the text, you're going to describe the food and medical conditions that you're experiencing. So be sure to include the things that we read about. So just as a quick review, when you write a letter, you want to say, "Dear," whoever you're writing to. It's like your greeting. You want to include a date. For this, we don't really have to include a date. And then you're going to, underneath your "Dear," you're going to write your message, and then you're going to have a closing. So your friend, Miss Cleland, or whoever it is that you're writing to. So I might say, "Dear Mom, how are you? It has been so awful. I don't have shoes anymore. I'm eating very boring food. I miss your home cooking." You're going to type as much as you can on a discussion post. Click the link to type your letter. Please write more than a few sentences.